Hey everyone, welcome to the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I'm Alexa Dat. Today we have not one but two special guests joining us. We have former MLB player Rick Ankiel and his wife Lory, and the pleasure of speaking with both of them and asking them your fan questions. So before we get to our guests, let me remind you how you ask those questions. So you can click the button below to sign in or sign up and ask your questions live here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Or if you want to hit me up on Twitter using the hashtag Chatting Cage, I can see your questions throughout the show. All right, we got Lory and Rick standing by, so let's go ahead and welcome them into the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. How's it going?
Good.
Awesome. Down here in Hollywood studios, so having fun.
Awesome. Hey, Rick, so you made news recently when you announced your desire to come back and be a big league player again. Lory, I actually want to start with you because I know this was a family decision. What was your reaction when he came to you with the news?
Well, I've always said that he could do it. Even when he retired from hitting, I always said, you could totally be a pitcher. But I have to be honest and say that I do have mixed feelings about it because it's been nice having him home. So who knows? But whatever he wants to do.
All right, good. It's awesome that you have someone to support you, Rick. So we have Miles here on Twitter, Miles Lehman, who said, when did you feel like you really had that itch and you first realized that you wanted to make a comeback?
Not even 2 weeks ago. I've been playing catch. I work with some kids that go through the yips and whatnot, and I've been playing catch, and it's felt pretty good. But I was going to play in that Bluegrass World Series, which was July 29th to August 4th. And I had an idea that I wanted to throw an inning there, and I still wasn't sure. And, when I got there, all the guys, all the ex-teammates were like, come on, you got to do it, which I was already kind of going to do it anyway. So once I went through that inning, the way it felt, and then when you take a look at baseball and you see the launch angle, you see the high fastballs, the big curveballs, which are really starting to work. Now, baseball is starting to swing back into my style of pitching. And my kids ask me almost on a daily basis, Papa, can you go play baseball again? We want to see you play. So I feel like, with everything that I've been through, everything that comes with it, I'm in such a place right now of peace and just where we are in our lives with our kids that I really don't care if I start throwing balls off the backstop or not. But I'm not afraid to try. And I tell people all the time, it's the courage to try things. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. So with all that said, that's when it started.
Well, we loved watching you play back in your playing days, and we're rooting for you for the comeback, man. I'm telling you, we have so many fans here as they're joining us here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. We got Kirsten414 on Twitter who said, what do you miss the most about your playing days?
The camaraderie and the competition, just being around the guys. It's amazing. You're with these guys more than you are your family, and it does make it tough on the families. But the camaraderie is amazing, and the competition, because you're never, for me, it doesn't matter what else I do in life if it's not playing baseball in the major leagues. I'm never going to compete against the best in the world, and that's what it is. When you're out there, you're competing against the best the world has to offer, and it's something to be proud of and a pride thing that you take with you forever.
All right, so let's throw it back to your playing days. And Lory, back in 2010, when Rick was traded to the Braves pretty unexpectedly, you developed this idea for an app that would help players and families when players were traded. Can you tell us a little bit more about this app?
Sure. So what it is a resource for baseball families. So when players get traded or sign with a new team, they find all the information they need in their new city. So as people join, they input their recommendations and reviews of all the things they use, their favorite products, their favorite services, doctors, car shipping, and they input it all into this now app. And so that when other players come into that city, the families can find all the resources they need in that city to help transition. Because the guys leave right away. And so the families are kind of left behind to pack everything up and move everything to their new city. And a lot of times, you need a doctor. Like when he was traded, I was pregnant, so I needed a doctor. We knew nothing about Atlanta, so we had two big dogs with us. We didn't know where to live. So that all that kind of information is on the app for the family. So they sign in, click on their city, and everything is there.
It's such an amazing concept because, that's what ends up getting overlooked when you talk about players being traded over the deadline. You talk about a player going here, how they're going to help the team, but the families are the ones that are affected the most, and it's incredible that you came up with this app to be able to help these families. Kayla T91 wants to know where you came up with the title, Our Baseball Life.
Well, I don't know. He probably thought of it. I don't know. It's just our baseball life. It's a unique lifestyle. And so I kind of, for the community that, a lot of times people say that it's hard for people that aren't in this lifestyle to understand, the kind of all the things we go through. So I I don't know. That's just kind of how we came up with it.
Yeah, I love it. It's pretty simple, straight to the point. Like we said, here on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, fans get to join. So we have a fan here who wants to talk to you both. Hey, what's your name and what's your question?
My name's Selena, and my question's for Rick. Even though you're not planning to, hi. Even though you're not planning to stay retired, what's your favorite thing about retirement?
Being home with the family and not having to be somewhere every single day. You know, in baseball, once it starts in spring training, you have 1 day off every 2 weeks, and sometimes that's a travel day. It doesn't matter if you're sick, you don't feel good, you're throwing up. The doctors are at the field. You're there every single day. It's nice to just do whatever you want. Now that I'm in a different world working for Fox as an analyst, you know, obviously I need to be there when I'm doing that, but there's a lot of downtime when I'm at home and I can just kind of do whatever I feel like doing that day.
Brian J96 watches your broadcasts and thinks you're an excellent broadcaster and wants to know what the transition's been like to the TV broadcast booth.
It was good. You know, it was funny because the first day that I went, I felt like it was my first day in the big leagues. My heart was beating 100 miles an hour, you know, because it's live, right? You don't want to sound like you're a dummy, and you're just not used to the mechanics of it, what camera to look at and whatnot. Once I settled in, you know, you understand what camera to look at, how to slow down, how to transition in and out of subjects, and when to interject when somebody else is talking. It's became a lot easier.
Lory, you've watched a lot of baseball in your life. Can you grade his broadcast skills?
Oh, he's a natural. He totally is a natural, which is really annoying when you're just good at everything.
That's not what she tells. That's not the critic that I see at home. Don't believe it.
Yeah, it's a little different in public, but I'm the exact same way as a wife. So you're doing it right, Lory, that's for sure. All right, we got a fan here, Marissa, who wants to talk to both of you. Hey, Marissa, what's your question?
Hi, Rick. Hi, Lory. My question is, who do you think are the most exciting players in the game right now?
Good one.
For me, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, just the young guys that are coming up these guys are so good. You know, not just baseball, but every sport. They're bigger, stronger, faster than we ever been. And just watching the numbers that these guys are putting up so fast, it's almost like they're adjusting to the league a lot quicker than guys used to back in the day. I don't know if that's because of, you know, the hazing isn't as much or what it is, but these guys are doing so well so fast. It's really impressive.
Hey, what's your take on Shohei Ohtani? Because Dan Johnson 84 is curious about, you know, you've been a guy who's been both a position player and a pitcher. What do you think that Ohtani's doing so far?
I think it's amazing, and I think it's about time that, you know, baseball's come in and let somebody do this. I think he came in at the right time because baseball's kind of transitioning to where you don't see starting pitchers go that third time through the lineup. The 10-day DL where you can kind of rest guys and move guys in and out of that. Just baseball's changing in that way, and what he's doing is amazing. When I watch the talent and the skills that this kid possesses, it is absolutely unbelievable.
And how about the Cardinals specifically? Let's talk about Matt Carpenter and the MVP-like season that he's having so far. P. Davidson 03 wants to know what your, outlook is for him for the rest of the year.
I mean, if he keeps going like he's going, we're going to see the MVP. He's on a run on a historical run. I know he hit another home run last night. Watching that because he wasn't very good up until May, the middle of May. And then since he's got going and the numbers that he has right now, 31 homers, it's incredible. I've never been that hot. I'm actually pretty jealous. I'm wondering myself if the ball just looks like a beach ball to him.
Yeah, it might at this point. I think that secret salsa is helping him out just a little bit too. And he's got all those ingredients from Wayno's Garden. So that's playing a role. Hey, we've got another fan for you here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey, I'm Dan. Rick, my question is for you. Who was your favorite player to watch when you were growing up as a kid?
Ken Griffey Jr. as a position player, and then I grew up a huge Braves fan, so I watched everybody on the Braves, you name it. Growing up in the 90s, the Braves they consistently won and won and won, so you go Smoltz and Tom Glavine and all those guys, Ron Gant, David Justice, all the guys that played for them. Those were my guys. So I watched the Braves religiously, and specifically Ken Griffey Jr.
It's time for our EDJ question of the day here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Rick, I want to know what your favorite baseball memory is from your playing days.
Oh, man, I got a few. The first time that I made it to the big leagues, because that's your dream coming true. The second time I made it to the big leagues because I came back and hit a home run in the first game. I couldn't have drew that up any better. And then, Some of the throws that I made, I think they kind of rank up there all the same almost. And then the home run I hit when I was playing for the Braves in extra innings out in San Francisco. So I'll just kind of tie all those in together.
Hey, Lory, what's your favorite memory from his playing days?
Oh, it's definitely the Colorado throws, because anybody can hit home run, but not anybody can throw like that. So those are definitely my favorite.
So we're talking about this comeback, and when we saw the news come out, I thought, man, as I'm reading about this app and also reading about your comeback, I thought, man, Lory, did you ever think that you would actually put your app to use now that he's making this comeback to the bigs?
I'm going to need it now. I know. I finally have something that can help me. Yeah, for sure. But
it's
no,
incredible.
I didn't think that, but glad I have it now.
Yeah, it's amazing. How much feedback do you get from other families who have used the app and, what it's like to actually put it to use?
It's all been great. The feedback is great because it's a necessity, like imagine just getting up and moving to a new city overnight and you have no clue about that city. So it's definitely something that's needed. And, it's great because all of the recommendations on there are from other baseball families. So it's not like I'm just Googling and throwing stuff on there. It's all recommended services and doctors and all that information. So it's definitely needed. So it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. All right, we got a fan, Lou, here, who absolutely loves asking questions here in the Edward Jones chatting cage. Hey, Lou, good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Good morning to you all. And my question for Rick is, if you return as a reliever, which role would you do? Long relief, middle relief, setup man, or closer?
I want to come in and get lefties out. I've always had a really good breaking ball. I still do. So right now I'm just kind of looking at that. But as any reliever, pitcher, player on the team, I'm going to come in and do what's needed. I'm going to do what's asked of me, and that'll be what team it is and what needs they have. And to be honest, I wouldn't be mad if they gave me a couple ABs either.
Why not, right? I mean, you've had success in both ways, so it would be nice to see. Hey, Aaron Woods is asking here on Twitter, your best advice to young pitchers who deal with anxiety on the mound, because we know you work with pitchers in that capacity.
Go get help. It's a tough thing to deal with, period. So I would go get help professionally and somebody that's trained in that can help you on the mental side of those things. And just remember this, it's a process. I wish there was a magic pill or a magic saying that I could give you that would just get you right out of it. But, I've seen guys get out of it in a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, or never get out of it. So just remember it's a process. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days, but it's the courage to try.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent advice. Hey, Rick and Lory, thank you so much for joining us here in the Edward Jones chatting cage. Congratulations on the app as well as the comeback. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.
See ya. And thank you to the fans for chiming in and asking your questions. Really appreciate that, not only on Twitter, but here live in the Edward Jones chatting cage. We're going to have them all season long, so make sure you check out MLB.com schedule. Until then, Alexa Dat, we'll see ya.